Tomorrow, dozens of veterans will be in our nation's capital as part of the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight. TV5's Lauren Piesco will be in the sky with them, but before the trip, she sat down with a few local veterans who are looking forward to their first honor flight.
She says while they're excited to meet their fellow comrades, they know it's going to be an emotional trip as they see the memorials dedicated to their service.
You go into boot camp, your whole world changes.
It's the price of freedom these brave men have paid. Many of them never thanked for their service.
And when I went to Vietnam, it was very fearful, from day one. When we were flying into Vietnam, the air base was under attack. Tracer rounds coming up at us, trying to shoot us out of the air.
William Shard is a Vietnam War veteran from Saginaw. He entered the Marines at just 18 years old.
Stayed 2 tours in Vietnam, 1968-70. I was a radio operator, and I was selected for embassy duty, and I could go to Germany, and I turned it down, and I went to Vietnam instead.
After being on a wait list for 5 years, he's finally been selected for the Mid-Michigan Honor Flight's 22nd mission.
I think it's going to be exciting, very exciting.
As he prepares for his trip to Washington, D.C., Shard says there's one memorial in particular he's anticipating.
It's very emotional to go to the Vietnam Wall, although when it came to Saginaw, the traveling wall, I drove there with my truck and I couldn't get out of my truck. 3 times I drove there and I finally was able to get out and walk up to the wall, but it was very emotional. And the one in Washington is very, very quiet and serene and, hard.
Jim Langley is another Saginaw native going on his first honor flight. The 92-year-old veteran served during the Korean War, also enlisted at a very young age. He says he remembers taking the Armed Forces qualification test at just 17 years old.
When I first went overseas, I went to England, and then when the war started, they shipped me to Japan. I was in a fighter escort squadron, and I was an electrician.
For Jim, it's not as easy to talk about that time of his life.
When they would bring them the wounded out of Korea, they used C-47s, which is a cargo ship, and they didn't have any ammo on them or any guns on them, and so anyway, the enemy would take after those, try to shoot those down. They'd call us when they were going to have a 47 coming out of Korea, and we'd fly over there and just stay above them and watch and guard the plane. I was young, and when you're young, you can pretty much do anything, I guess.
William went much of his life never talking about his time in Vietnam, suffering from PTSD ever since returning home.
Well, when we came home, they spit at us. We couldn't wear our uniforms coming home, and that was hard. We didn't understand it. In February of 1970, there were protesters out there in San Francisco when we landed. They had signs and all that. They were spitting at us and cussing at us and calling us baby killers and all kinds of things. And I didn't talk about it. I didn't talk to anybody about it, and I had a lot of trouble sleeping all my life at nighttime, and I'm very sensitive to sound. So it's, it's been an experience that's hard to understand, for a lot of people.
Why do you think you're able to talk about it now?
About 2010, I think it was, I went to the VA hospital for needing some help. And so I went to the VA hospital in Saginaw, and they helped me a lot, and I got to meet some fellow veterans. Talking about it now is a lot easier than it was back then. They honor us now. They recognize us, and so it's easier to talk about now.
Both men told me they're most looking forward to meeting their fellow comrades and finding out if they'll recognize anyone after all these years.
That's exciting when you find somebody that was stationed the same time you were over there.
If any of them were over in Japan, that was with me when I was over there, I might get acquainted with some of them. That would be nice.
I want to be around fellow veterans from Vietnam, and I've never met anybody that I've was served in Vietnam with, and maybe I'll get a chance to see somebody. I'm not sure yet.
Reporting in Saginaw, Lauren Piesco, TV5.
And as we reported, TV5's Lauren Piesco will be following their journeys as they arrive in Washington, D.C. Make sure you stay with us both on air and online this week for the latest coverage.